we just, like, continuing to go back in time as a society? Like, it just feels weird with a lot of the things that are popping up again, like, from my childhood, like the fact that nu metal and pop punk are all of a sudden the new in thing. Michael Keaton next year will be returning as Batman. He hasn't played a Batman character in almost 30 years, and yet he will don the big screen as Batman again. And also, there was the whole Limp Bizkit reunion, the Little Wiggles reunion that went on, minus Greg, obviously because of health issues. But now we got another childhood character, person, host of mine and many, who decided to make a return. Steve Burns, who was the first host of the show Blue's Clues from 1996 to 2002. He was an integral part of my childhood, like I said, with many people, and when he just kind of shockingly, abruptly left, it left many people wondering what happened, and then there was the rumors that, oh, he died of an overdose, and that turned out not to be true. He just kind of disappeared. I don't really think he ever acted again, and if he did, it was in, like, small stuff. And over the years we found out that, oh, he does stand-up comedy, and he also does music. His music is really good, and I especially like the joke in his stand-up routine where he would talk about how he would say, hey, I'm Steve from Blue's Clues, just so he can get with chicks. It's a funny story, or he was Steve from Blue's Clues, like I said. Seeing that video as Blue's Clues now celebrates its 25th anniversary, where they brought back all three of the hosts, and him reassuring us that, hey, all those memories that we had together I've cherished, I'm still cherishing, and you may have learned a lot from me, but I've learned a lot from you too. It was really, really heartfelt, and he gave us the true reason why he decided to hang up the sweater vest and move on and give it to somebody else, that being Joe, who Joe was a part of my childhood too, so I gotta give him props where it's due. And I especially loved this part toward the end.
I guess I just wanted to say that after all these years, I never forgot you. Ever.
I mean, I don't know, it's just the nostalgia's been kicking in lately with a lot of different things. I mean, like I said, I got real emotional seeing that because it flashed me back to when I was younger, and I would throw on Nick Jr. to watch the show, or, you know, I had like the VHS tapes. Yes, I was around for VHS, where I would pop one in with the orange colored tape and just watch it and just enjoy myself. You know, it was a nostalgia thing that just kind of kicked in, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe that he's back and doing this for at least a little bit. Like I said, it's only for the anniversary, but I think he is part of the new show, just not the main host. And Steve will always be my guy. I mean, again, Joe was a part of my childhood, so I always appreciate what he did. I can't really speak upon the new guy, Josh, because by the time the show came back on, I was an adult and just didn't really care that much. But all I can say is with him, I can't hate on the guy because, like Steve and Joe did back when the show first aired for I think it was like 8 or 9 years, he's doing what they were doing. He was a fan of the show and tried out for it, made it, and now he's just becoming what Steve and Joe were to now, instead of millennials, the Gen Z of the kids. Like, when they grow up 20 years later, they can say, hey, that was my Blue's Clues host, whereas we can say this and that and the other. So I can't sit here and bash the guy. They changed a lot of things about the show to really modernize it. Like, instead of a notebook, he's got an iPad, which, I don't know about you, but I had about 5 of those notebook things when I was a kid and would just doodle in them and come up with my own clues. I had a big inflatable red chair like they had in the show, and I had like a tent version of the house. It was just, you know, again, something that I grew up with, something that I loved, and just seeing him come back and reassuring us that everything's still okay is just a nice little, you know, throwback to the past that I can definitely appreciate. And the fact that he's still willing, after so long, to come back and don the character, it you know, again, touches me just a little bit. It really makes me somewhat emotional in this case. I know it seems weird why you're getting emotional over a kid's show, but when you have the nostalgic stuff in your life that just goes away at some point, when it comes back, you definitely, you know, flash back to the point where you were a kid, and you just remember just having the time of your life. And back when it was brand new, it was just so cool. Like, really, really so cool. And that's why I gave the cartoons that got rebooted from my childhood a try, like the Powerpuff Girls and, you know, the new versions of SpongeBob that they're doing. And they don't work for me, but I'm just going to sit here and say I can at least appreciate them for, you know, getting ready to, I guess, appeal to the new generation and, you know, give them their childhood that they will look back on fondly. Like, do I like the shows? I mean, I can't say I do, but, you know, when time comes, things change, and when you have a show that's been on air for a long time, granted I had like a 15-year hiatus period, when you have a show that's been around as long as it is, at some point in time, changes are going to be made for the new wave of, you know, children and generations, and that's just how it's going to be. Nothing is going to ever be the same when we were kids, and that's something you just kind of learn to deal with as you grow up. But it's always cool to get nostalgic, especially when somebody like this comes back and just says, hey, I haven't forgotten the memories, I hope you haven't, and just keep doing you. And that's exactly what he did with this video. So yeah, you can probably find it. Just go to Nick Jr.'s Twitter or Facebook. You'll find it. It's still like a 2-minute video. It's not even that long, and trust me, if you grew up with Blue's Clues and Steve, you will get emotional. But yeah, sorry that this was a different video, but I had to talk about this. It was really just an out of nowhere thing that kind of happened, and I loved it. I really did love it. It was great to see that. So yeah, stay safe out there, wear your mask, get vaccinated, and until then, I will catch you all in the next one.